it's ultimately all about money, right? It's not just about money for us. It's about money for our clients. So I work a lot in B2B, which is business to business, but I also work a little bit in business to consumer, and I also work in manufacturer to business. So I'm all over the place. I've worked in pharmaceuticals, gambling, gosh, you name it, I've probably done it, including chocolate. I helped a friend who has a chocolate shop. So I've done it all, but ultimately it's about money, and especially for the guy with the chocolate shop. I just did that for free because he really needed the help. But it's easy for us to get lost because we're constantly thinking about tactics and not about the complete picture. So we're not looking high enough sometimes because we're told to do things by the client, and we're just answering questions. We're not thinking strategically because we're so busy, because our bosses are pushing us, or we're pushing ourselves, or our clients are pushing us, and it's difficult for us to look above. So we need to think about, who are we targeting? Like, are we even doing the right thing? The client says, yes, build me all the links. All of the links must be mine. And I say, really? Are you sure? Because I've been looking at your website and it sucks. And I think you need to fix that before you go buying some links. But okay, you want to give me money? Hey, why not? But I'd like you to think about, who are you doing business with? What are their pressure points? Why have they gone to search? If I'm buying a cable, like an iPhone cable, I'm going to Amazon. I live in the UK. I didn't dwell too much on my history. I am Canadian, so I apologize for my lack of French. I dropped French when I was 15, and I'm 49. It's been a long time without French. So I can understand when I'm spoken to, but I can't respond because I have no confidence, and I sound like a dog that has eaten a frog. Oh, look, HDMI 1 PC has an input. Excellent. So we need to think about, what are the pressures? Why has someone gone to search and not Amazon? Why has someone gone to search and not their neighbor? Why has someone gone to search and not the shop? So think about, what is the pressure that led them to search? Because if we can answer that, it will help a lot. But also, clients are always saying, yes, we need a new website. We need a brand new website. I was in a meeting with a sports car manufacturer on some day this week. I'm not sure when, because I've been traveling a lot. I think it might have been Monday, it might have been Tuesday. And they had 1,500 different domains. 1500, 1,500 different domains for one manufacturer of luxury sports cars. How many domains does a manufacturer of sports car? I think they have 8 models. How many domains do you need? That's a little bit greedy. Someone was making some very good money off of them building websites and selling domain names. So you've got to think about, where are the people that you're targeting based? Like I said, my husband now goes to Amazon if he wants to buy stuff. I said to him the other day, I need some new cables. My handbag was stolen, so I'm replacing everything. I need some new cables. I need this, I need that. Amazon, every single time. Did not touch Google, Bing, anything. Did not touch search. Which is worrying for me as an SEO, which is why I'm like, just share everything, because I'm going to be out of a job soon. So think about why. Why are your customers asking these questions of Google? Where are they? And are they actually going to Google, or do we need to be targeting them somewhere else? Are they somewhere else? Where are they? And what are they doing? And why are we here? Why are we on this planet spinning around? Just joking. But this is the most important thing. I apologize this wasn't done in Europe. And hey, we didn't even do this in Canada. But an agency I work with did a survey of 1,500 people in the US and 1,500 people in the UK. And they studied what actually they did after they interacted with people online. So I know I've just said, oh, hey, everybody goes to Amazon, let's just pack up, go home, and start being farmers. I don't know, I fancy myself going into viticulture, making some wine, just relaxing in the countryside 2 hours a day, maybe 1 hour a day, instead of sleeping, and the rest of the time tending my vines. But 43% of people, after interacting with a company online, bought stuff. Bought stuff. 43% of people in the UK splashed the cash, so to speak. They got their hand, put it in their pockets, took out their credit card, and paid for things after an online interaction. 43%. I want you to remember that. 43% is a huge number of people prompted to purchase after online interaction. That is so important to us as SEOs, or as digital marketers generally. It's so important. So what do we need to be thinking about? There are lots of things that I want you to consider. You can read the words later. You don't need me to read you the words, really, because, you know, I know all I'm going to do is give more work to the poor lady in the booth who keeps gesturing wildly as I'm gesturing too. So clearly she's really into my talk. So there are lots of things we need to consider. But you can't do things in a random order. You need to do things in a strategic way. In the same way as this luxury car manufacturer needs to first, needs to first consolidate 1,500 domains into maybe like one, maybe have everything in the same place. We also need to think about where we're doing things, what we're doing overall, and therefore how we're doing things. So please think about things before you do them. Don't just use tools blindly. There are lots of tools out there. And just don't use them blindly. The whole reason we're being hired and not just a tool is because we know what we're doing. The thing we need to remember is the boss is always right except when they're wrong. And the customer or client isn't an expert. We are. They've brought us in because we're the expert. They might bring us in and say, hey, I want all the links. And it's our job to say, actually, do you know that 12-second load time on your website? You might want to fix that first because you're losing everybody because 12 seconds. Who among you would wait 12 seconds for any website that you've ever looked for to load? Anyone? 12 seconds? No, you're all like, yeah, I'm gone after 2. So you've got to think about what is actually going on overall rather than just doing what we're told. So fix the fundamentals, but don't just follow tools blindly. They say things like, oh, you have not used minification. You must use minification. You don't need to use minification. You need to make sure that your website's loading and your images are compressed and things are tight. Don't just blindly follow tools. They're full of things that are brown and squishy sometimes. So not everything has to be done. You've got to consider the impact on your business. I know I tried not to say the word because I don't want her to have to translate naughty words. I did that once in Turkey, and I swore, and I apologized for like the rest of my talk. So strategy. I want you to think about these things when you're creating a strategy. We need to be thinking about all of our tactics, and we need to think about how we can win against the competition. I do want to give you some tools that you can use, but I want to frame this in a way you'll understand. So I've given a scenario of the client, this particular client, wanted to build a new website because they wanted to sell more stuff. So they thought it would improve sales if they built a new website. They were like, hey, build us a new website. And I was like, is that really what you want? So I went in and I took a look at things and I thought, well, what I want to do is look a little higher level, and I want to say, what do we want to achieve? More sales. But what are the things we have to do to get there? So what do we need to do to make it to more sales? Because it's not always that straightforward. So I've tried to break this down for you in the way that I did it. So that's why there's like a line in some of these slides. These are my slides. So I said to the client, right, so what are we doing, where, why? So redacted is the client. That's not the actual client. I took the client out. They're not called redacted. Don't Google them. They wanted to launch a new website. So that's the goal, right? But then we also want to say, what are our aspirations? So I've said, you know, we want to understand how they got there. Now, this was a business-to-business client. They sell big pieces of equipment that normal people like me would not necessarily buy. Because it's just not necessary in my life to have something that fills up most of my living room to achieve something that something smaller can do for a consumer. So there's no reason for that. So what we've said here is, the existing site is bad. I'm trying to be polite. I wasn't polite with them. The existing site is bad, so what we're going to do is we're going to do a competitor audit. We're going to see what's going on. We're going to look at what's going on, but we need to know where we are right now. So we need to know what the website looks like, how people go through the website, what we rank for, what pages have links, and these are some tools that I used. So I used Google Analytics, or you can use Adobe Analytics. I used Moz, which had it broke pages down with the links and the social that were coming into each of the pages. And I used SEMRush, or SEMRush. I'm Canadian, I call it SEM for search engine marketing. They call it SEM. Your favorite version will work. So I've said then we want to analyze the website and deliver a migration strategy. That's a concrete goal. That is what we're going to do. But then I have to say, well, how are we going to measure if it's successful? How do we even know if it's successful? Well, we've benchmarked, and then we're saying we're actually going to make sure they don't lose rankings and that we maintain our link equity. And then, of course, because we're in this for the long run, we want to say, hey, we're also going to sell you some extra services. We're not just going to build you a website. We're going to sell you a content strategy. And not only do you need a content strategy, we need personas to go with that content strategy. Now you're seeing the pound signs or hear the euro signs start to increase because we're saying, not only are we going to give you what you asked for, we're going to sell you stuff you didn't even know you wanted. That's the important part. And that's what we build up to by doing this deck. So we then say, right, we're going to give you a content strategy because the website isn't the end. We have to understand the pressures our customers are under, solve them for them, and move them along the sales cycle. So we're going to understand personas, and we're going to deliver content that matches those user journeys. So we're going to give you a user journey map and content. But not only that, we also, when people get there and they get to their landing page, we need to increase conversions. Conversion optimization, yet another service we can sell. You're starting to see my nefarious plan, aren't you? That I'm here to sell more to the client than I was originally asked to sell to. But all of you can do this by taking that step up and looking a little bit higher and saying to the client, yeah, I know you said you wanted a new website, but your existing website's pants, and this is much better. But we also have concrete goals that we're measuring ourselves against. So we're saying to the client, we're not just doing this for fun, we're doing this for profit. We're going to make you money. So across all tactics, all the things that we could do, not just the strategy piece, but the actual execution, where do we invest our time and money? Well, there are 4 places that I invest time and money. Technical SEO is the first place. Because if the website takes 12 seconds to load, no one is sticking around. I had a client once in finance. It took, I think it was 8.6 seconds to the first meaningful paint. And I was like, no one's going to stick around to look at your ISA product, which is an investment savings account product. If it's taking that long, they're going to go to somewhere else. Because they see nothing loading. They'll think your website's dead. They're going to leave and come back later. So technical SEO is the most important thing that I think we need to get right first, in my opinion. It's some people say it's about 20% of ranking. For me, it's an on or off thing. If you've got good technical SEO, you can do all the other things to rank well. If you've got bad technical SEO, you're never going to overcome what that hurts you with. So it's going to beat you with a stick until you die. And no matter how many links you buy, and no matter how much content you build, bad technical SEO will beat you up over and over and over again. So get technical SEO right first. This is, again, the actual slide. I use Screaming Frog, so I said, hey, there's a lot of duplicate content. There's HTTPS and HTTP being linked to internally. There are dead pages being linked to. This is a mess. We need to redo everything from the ground up. But then I take the output of various tools and I put it in order. So I try to organize things for the client so that they understand what they have to do first and what can wait. And I always make sure the things that will make the website go fast come first, and the things that are nice to have but may be expensive to change in development come last. Because we want to make sure we go fast and we go accurate before we get fancy. So that's the first thing I do. I look at Google Site Speed. I prefer Lighthouse. Some people don't feel comfortable with it, but it gives you pretty graphics that the client can see easily. Some clients are a little intimidated by the Lighthouse output. It can look very technical. So sometimes I use Google Site Speed just to help the client understand how slow things are, and then I move to Lighthouse because then they feel a little more comfortable with, they know that there's a problem, and then the somewhat more technical looking Lighthouse is easier for them to understand. And when a client feels empowered and understands things, they're more willing to spend more money. And that's the goal. So I always say that content is king, but clearly keyword research is queen, because we all know who actually runs the kingdom when there's a king and queen, right? It's going on right now in the UK. It's just a woman running things. So, hey, we all know girls are the ones that run the world, right? Guys are all like, no, it's us. And women are like, yeah, just don't let them know. So keyword research is queen if content is king. And so what I like to do is look at the kind of things like SEMRush and things like that that we can use to actually find keywords. I use Scattergraphs. It's gotten a little squiggly there because I've actually taken a screenshot of the slide I used for the client. So we perform a gap analysis using SEMRush, which means all you have to do, it looks really fancy, right? It's like, wow, there's colors, there's dots, there's words. All it is SEMRush, competitor analysis, output, dump it into a spreadsheet, and then use the Scattergraph graph on an Excel spreadsheet. That's it. You need a plugin called XY Chart Labeler for Excel, but that's it. That's it. One axis is the search volume, one axis is the number of competitors. That all comes out of SEMRush. Super simple, but looks awesome, right? It'll take you like half an hour at best. Remember, this is all doable in half a day if you use tools wisely. And then the last thing that has been cut off the end of the slide there is to just make sure you're planning everything for the client. Step the client through on a story. Tell them a story about their website, how their website now is struggling. It's not so good, but it could be awesome if only they hired you. And if they hire you, you're not just going to fix their website, you will fix their lives. You'll make everything better. The roses will smell better. Their marriage will be awesome, or their relationships will go well. Their children, if they have any, will be happy. The world will be a better place. Just hire you. So that's what we want clients to feel. Now, I know that there are a lot of link building companies downstairs. Link building is hugely important, but it's the last thing to concentrate on. So there are some tools that I'm going to give you. There are lots of tools out there to do link analysis. I do link analysis on the clients. I check their links. I look at competitors. I check their links. I chase the easy links. Then I go after the hard links. So we've got to think about how we can do things that will get us more visibility against our competitors and not just copy. This is the best slide ever. But the competitive landscape is tough. It's always tough. If it's competitive, it's tough. There is no competitive landscape that isn't tough. But the client always nods, yes, you understand us and our problems very well. So I always say the competitive landscape is tough. You're a market leader. Everybody loves to hear that. The client's like, yes, we are market leaders, but only to those who know you. Oh no, because you're not seen off-brand. Same with this British sports car company. I was like, if you use Google and you Google British sports car manufacturer, you actually rank 63rd. Did you know that? And they were like, no, but that's what we are. And I was like, well, here's the evidence. Here's your rankings. And I've typed in this search, and there you go. And they're like, but that's what we are. And so they were suddenly confronted with the fact that they weren't where they thought they were. And then you pull up something like, SEMRush is so good for doing this. It's like, I hate to plug them. So like there's other tools, Ahrefs. I don't hate to plug them, but like I hate to plug one tool, but there are lots of other tools out there. I just use this to unfair advantage, let's say, because there's bits that give you a lot of information quickly and enable you to look really smart to the client. So, you know, there are lots of tools out there, Moz, Ahrefs, and SEMRush. I'm just using this as an example because it's fast and easy. So SEMRush also gives you lovely Venn diagrams, and clients love diagrams. They love line graphs, pie charts, bar graphs, everything. Venn diagrams, it's brilliant. It will give you all of this stuff and more, and the client will be like, wow, you did a lot of work. And you'd be like, well, it took me days. I've billed you like 6 days for this. Half an hour, and then I was down to the pub. But you can do a lot with this tool that will make it look like you spent a lot of time. This donut graph is basically just Excel and the donut graph in Excel. And all I've done here is looked at the competitors in search results. Again, you can use multiple different tools to get this. So I did want to make sure that I left you with some tools because I said, you know, what tools are we using? We use tools, lots of tools every day as professionals in marketing. But what tools do I use and why? I use Moz, as I mentioned, for analysis. Other tools will do the same analysis. You can use Ahrefs. You can use SEMRush. I also use link research from Majestic. So this is Click Hunter. And it will find links that your competition has that you don't, and also make pretty graphs. I use Kerbu to do an analysis of links, and Kerbu will actually spider all of the links you give it and check whether or not they seem bad. Moz and SEMRush and Ahrefs also do this kind of analysis. This just happens to come with pretty graphs and also the additional benefit of actually rechecking every link you give it. For outreach, for actually building links, I look at tools like BuzzSumo to do research and see who I might want to contact, besides obviously being inspired by my competition's links. For sparking creativity, we look at the competitors and where they're getting links from so that we can be creative in our outreach, right? We're not just stealing their ideas, we're being creative. And then I use URL Profiler to scrape information about all of the websites that I want to target for links. So just to quickly recap, these are the points I want you to think about always. It's about going higher level. Don't let a client come to you and say, I just want a website, can you just give me a website? Don't be one of the 1,500. Think longer term. Think about all those extra services I just told you can sell, right? You can sell persona mapping. You can sell content audits. You can sell content strategies. You can sell link building. You can sell all sorts of things besides a website. Think about that the next time you have a client come to you and say, we just want a new website. No, you don't just want a new website. You want to make more sales. More sales means we need a better strategy. So hopefully that will make you win more clients and influence more people.
Thank you very much, Judith. That was absolutely brilliant.
Thank you.